Welcome to another edition of Yacht Life, and today we use a belt in the way that it was not traditionally meant to be used, because just when you thought all was well with this car, there's something else. Let's go. Well, where I left off at with this car here, seems that everything was running right. The piston messed up, I got it all fixed, replaced the whole piston, everything like that, right? Well, lo and behold, you know, I went to go get the radiator flushed out and everything like that, and it overheated. It overheated horribly. I mean, it just didn't do well. So I got to get them to put Mopar Xerox G05 in it and put the right coolant in it. That wasn't the only problem. See, well, while it was running hot and smoking up the place, it was also spilling oil. And I don't just mean, oh, hey, you got an oil leak here. No, it was legitimately peeing oil out of its car body. And why? Because the oil pan gasket that I could not change that one day, that I finally got changed, and I'll include pictures right now. And it stopped some of the leaking, but now it decided it wanted to leak from the front crank seal. I went ahead and got that replaced at Virginia Speed. Ouch. And, which they did, they replaced it. So I'm not blaming them, because I don't really know if you need to just press in the crank seal or what. But today, that is what we're changing out. We're not changing it. I'm taking it out and putting some RTV on it, and I'm gonna let it sit for a little while. Because see, the crank seal doesn't spin. It sits stationary, while the crank itself and the dampener spins. So, we're gonna get to that today, and hopefully the leak goes away, because it's not leaking from the oil pan anymore with the RTV on it. So, let's get to that. Now, what I'm doing is I'm taking off the cooling fans because they are clearly in the way. I can't get the puller down there, nor can I get any tools right there to do anything that I need to do. So, that's what I'm doing right now. Remember the belt? This is a regular old pants belt. I'm going to try to use it as a chain strap, rubber strap belt to hold on the crank, to hold it from turning. So let's see how that works out. Still turning. Well, here's something I never thought would work. I used the compression stroke by rotating the engine backwards. That, in turn, broke the bolt. What I'm gonna do next is I'm gonna try to take the radiator and move it out the way. That'll give me some extra space to work with as far as taking the dampener or the harmonic balancer off. You just do that by taking off these two braces, one here, one there, and I'm gonna try to flip the radiator up, set it on top of the intake. I don't know how well it's gonna work out, but we're gonna try it anyway. We're gonna give it a shot. As you can see, hopefully, I know the quality might be getting a little slower because I had to up the exposure, but that is the crank shaft. This is the crank seal. As you can see, it is leaking, not from the oil pan, but from above the oil pan, coming right through here or somewhere around there. It's getting down, coming down there and spitting to the ground right down the oil pan. So let's see if I can take this out. Let's see if I can take this out without actually spilling any oil, which I'm not quite sure of, but let's give it a shot. Well, look at that. I got it out with no extra oil spilling. It's not leaking or anything like that. So, lucky me. There it is. You see how it's not leaking? There's nothing coming out. So there's no reason to drain the oil for this. I'm just going to put some sealing around it and push it right back on into that seat. This is the seal. This is what the seal looks like. This is what was leaking, and you see there's no rips or tears in it. It's brand new. But what happened is it's not seated fully, so it leaks on the outside here, comes down to the bottom, and then next you know it makes its way down to the bottom of the oil pan. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to clean up that area a little bit, put some RTV on the back of that, push it down, put some RTV around this, and push it down. And hopefully that stops the leak. That way I can drive my damn car. Let's give it a shot. As you can see, I have put some RTV all the way around it. I mean, it's completely around it, so that way when it gets shoved in there, it'll actually squeeze out, and that creates the seal. The circular dimensions around this here seal that is on the timing cover will make a perfect seal, no matter where it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and put this on there right now, and we're gonna hope that it stops this leak. I even put some on the lip right around there, just for the sake of it. I could put some on there, but the crank spins, so I'm not really sure if it's coming from there or not, and I don't want to run the risk of putting it there, it tacking, and then tearing off the rubber. So we're just gonna stick with this and push this back on there and let it sit for a few minutes. So let's go. Well, as you can see, hopefully, I have pushed it on and it's sealed and it's sitting perfectly flush. So I'm gonna let that sit for about 10 minutes, a couple hours maybe, or maybe about 10, 20, 30 minutes. Let it sit, let it seal, and come back and put it all back together. Now you're probably wondering, how do you get the crank pulley or the harmonic balancer, the dampener, back onto the crank shaft? Well, let me share a little secret with you. WD-40. You spray it on the crank, then you also spray it on the inside and outside of the crankshaft bolt. The crankshaft dampener, harmonic balancer, whatever you want to call it. spray it on the outside, spray it on the inside, spray it on the outside of the crank. Then you sit it on there like that. Take a 4 pound, 3 pound, 5 pound, and just knock it on there. And let's give her first start. Just like that, this episode of Yacht Life is over. Out.